Well, thank you to the West Salem High School Jazz Band. You all have done a great job of representing not only your school today, but also the wonderful music program that we have in the Salem-Keizer School District. Thank you also to Carl Rashkus, former director of the district's music program, for setting it up today. And welcome all of you to this annual Mayor's State of the City Address. It is sponsored each year by the Rotary Club of Salem, the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, and the Salem City Club, in cooperation with the City of Salem and the Office of the Mayor. On their behalf, I would like to say how happy we are that you're all here today. This meeting has traditionally been held at the meeting time of the Rotary Club of Salem and has been held for over 40 years now. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ron Hayes to the podium for our invocation.
Let's pray. Lord, as we pray for our city, we humbly ask for three things. We first ask that you give us compassion for all our community and our world, compassion guided by integrity, compassion that is pervasive and embodied in all our actions. Second, we ask for wisdom to make the right decisions in a complex world, wisdom that is embedded with understanding, creativity, and foresight. And third, we ask for vision for strengthening our community, vision that guides us, vision that inspires us, and vision that invokes us to act. Lord, for our city, we humbly ask for these three things. Amen. If you would stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now I'm pleased to introduce today's head table. To my right and your left, Councilor Chuck Bennett, Ward 1, Councilor Laura Tessler, Ward 2, Councilor Brad Nanke, Ward 3, Councilor Rich Clausen, Ward 4. Oh, he's not here yet, but he's going to be there. Councilor Diana Dickey, Ward 5, and of course, Anna Peterson, Mayor of Salem. And on my left, your right, we have Councilor Cheryl Thomas, Ward 6, Councilor Warren Bednarz, Ward 7, and Dan Clem, Ward 8 is not here yet. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry about that. Diana Dickey is going to be on this side. And Ryan Alberton, President-elect of the Salem Chamber of Commerce, and Russ Beaton, President of the Salem City Club. Please join me in welcoming the head table. Because this is a cooperative event among the three organizations, we will have the lead volunteer from each one share a little bit about what they do here in the community. So I'd like to invite Russ Beaton to come and tell us about the Salem City Club, followed by Ryan Alberton, who will share about the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, and then I will conclude.
Thank you, John, and welcome to all of you. I'm Russ Beaton, president of the Salem City Club, and we are pleased and honored to once again co-host this event. All of us seek to have much more communication, partnerships, and coordination within the city, and certainly this event goes a long way to fulfill that. The City Club is primarily a forum for public events and for public issues. Certainly issues that affect the city, our region, our state, occasionally even it is rumored that national issues could come up. This year we had a great many political debates, and next year we're looking forward to being able to cover other things, shall we say. The membership in the City Club is open to anyone. We're nonpartisan. We're nonpartisan on any issues. We sponsor forums on any issue that comes along just to prove to anyone that we're totally open. We invite you to join the City Club, and we invite you to come to our meetings even if you don't join. So welcome today. We look forward to hearing from our mayor, and it's good to be here. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Ryan Albritton, President-elect for the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are definitely privileged to be co-sponsoring this event today to hear from our great mayor, and we're excited to see where our great city is going. I do want to send the regards of our president, John Miller, who is out of town on business today, and very humbled and privileged to be representing our 1,200 plus members with the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce. One thing that I would like to say is that the Chamber is dedicated to economic vitality within our region. And our biggest concern is obviously the jobs in our market area. We want to see those grow. We want to see the city grow, and we want people to call Salem home. And we're excited to be a part of this event today. The Chamber's advocacy and business development services will promote and sustain job growth, which is, like as I already mentioned, very important to us. And it just means more customers for Main Street. And we're excited to see the development of Salem. And as it continues to go, we're very proud to be a part of it. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to John.
There are over 1.2 million members of Rotary International, and 172 of them are members of the Rotary Club of Salem. In just over 100 years, Rotary has grown to over 34,000 clubs around the world who unite under the motto, service above self. On an international level, Rotary's International Foundation, which is supported by clubs around the world, supports health, humanitarian, and peace programs and projects. In addition, our club in Salem raises about $12,000 per year for international projects, pooling our resources with other clubs around the area and multiplying that with funds from Rotary International. In Haiti, we have recently completed drilling 3 vitally needed water wells, and in Bangalore, India, a project to provide heart surgeries for children and family breadwinners. The eradication of polio worldwide has been an initiative that was undertaken by a club in Australia, a single Rotary club that just mushroomed into a worldwide operation. In 1985, there were over 350,000 new cases per year of polio in 125 countries. Since then, in cooperation with other international health organizations and the recent high-profile supporters such as the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that number has been reduced to 200 cases per year in just 3 countries. We are literally this close. Locally, our club has done a myriad of service projects, supports outbound and inbound exchange students, and provides grants large and small through our own Salem Rotary Foundation and our annual Good Works fundraiser. Our major project this year is to provide some important medical equipment for the Liberty House and also some upgrades to their facility, which will make it a more comfortable place for families and children going through some very trying times. And 2 weeks today, we kick off the annual Rotary Food Drive for Marion Polk Food Share, which incidentally has a new executive director, our own Rick Galpo. While being known as the club that gets things done, we also make sure that we have fun along the way. Our meetings also include featured students and some of the best speakers among the newsmakers and change makers of our region. If you'd like more information, we have made available brochures on your table. And now, the reason that we are all here. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce the mayor of the city of Salem. Mayor Anna M. Peterson is in her second term and has been mayor since January 11th, 2011. She has been a leader in business, civic, and community organizations in Salem for over 25 years. a graduate of Roosevelt High School in Portland. She earned a Bachelor of Science degree in journalism from the University of Oregon. Mayor Peterson is married to Edwin Peterson, the former Chief Justice of the Oregon Supreme Court. I first met Anna Peterson at a fireside gathering in 2004, I don't know if you remember that or not, that she hosted in her home for new Rotarians like myself. My immediate impression was of her warm and friendly personality, but I soon began to discover just how many vital roles she plays in our community. These roles including co-founding and chairing for 3 years the No Meth, Not in My Neighborhood program, as well as numerous other programs dedicated towards eradicating this destructive substance. She has also been deeply involved in arts and civic organizations, including the Rotary Club of Salem, the Oregon Symphony Association in Salem, the historic Elsinore Theater, the Salem Public Library Foundation, and the Oregon Arts Series Foundation to bring art to public places in Salem. In her role as mayor, her hallmark has been fostering cooperation and team building. Mayor Peterson is credited with uniting the City Council and leading goal-setting sessions that placed economic development as their highest priority. Among her earlier accomplishments in office, she has worked with the City Council and City Manager to pass balanced city budgets with strong agreement on fiscal conservancy, guide the city to negotiate contracts with unions, settle with the Willamette River Queen captain so that the bridge to Minto Brown Island can become a reality, and established an incubator loan program for new and expanding businesses that move into the Fairview Industrial Park. We're anxious to find out her vision for what comes next. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Mayor Anna Peterson.
Thank you very much for such a warm welcome. I really feel so honored to be your mayor. As I look out around the room, I just see so many people here that I've worked with over the years and I know have toiled in this city just as much or more than I have. And believe me, you're all dearly cherished by me. I want to thank you for coming today to the luncheon. And I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the Salem City Club and Salem Rotary for being our hosts every year. You know, this is truly an example of a great collaboration, which is really the theme for today's speech. In fact, to highlight how the City of Salem collaborates, we've made a video, so I think we'll have that right now. Watch the screens.
Salem is known as the collaboration capital. Collaboration is important for a successful community. Because Salem is home to the state capital, we have access to great resources, talent, and partners. We cannot do this alone. We are reliant on collaboration with private and public partners. Here are a few highlights from the last year that show the City of Salem's spirit for collaboration to build a stronger community.
With Garmin located at the airport and being very involved in aviation, it's important that we have a safe and usable airport. With the runway expansion is just another way that we can build, the airport environment. In development of the project, the city invited Garmin AT to come to the city council meetings and basically find out what is going on with the project and actually testified at the city council meetings.
The urban development department has been very crucial to our success. They've worked with us from day one. The loan program really helped us get started and move forward on our expansion with our brewery.
Well, given the scope and the size of the project here at Capital Auto Group, the city was very helpful in walking us through all the red tape so that we could appropriately line up the buildings on this specific site. They were great to work with.
I talked to Sam, our superintendent on this project, about the city and their involvement, and he just said that the inspectors, he would call them, they would get out here. They really went beyond the call of duty, just making sure that the project went along well and kept on schedule.
We'll be commencing in March a new 26,000-foot medical clinic for Salem Clinic. I have the opportunity to work in a lot of communities across the country. It was very satisfying to work with a group of folks from the council members and the mayor, as well as the department heads and the staff who had a coordinated perspective on what they wanted to see accomplished. We look forward to being able to participate in the further development of the Kubler Road improvements.
Salem Hospital is the largest institution between Portland and Eugene. We're the largest private employer in the two counties. We have a payroll of about $300 million a year. So not only do we play an important role from a medical standpoint, but I think we also play a very important role as a significant economic component within our community.
Mill Creek Corporate Park is an industrial area on the east side of town. The city has been a tremendous partner at forming an urban renewal district, allowing us to cash flow, if you will, those hard investments in infrastructure to make the land marketable. As development builds out and as the infrastructure is paid for, that value will go onto the property tax rolls. That will be a benefit to all the citizens of Salem in helping to fund public services here. So literally the state and the city both benefit.
This is a real collaboration between the City of Salem and the Oregon Artist Series Foundation, which was created mainly to bring art to the conference center. What we have done is to not only move now from the interior, but to come out to create a living room, in a sense, for the community by creating a sculpture garden here. This could not have happened without the commitment of the Urban Renewal Agency, the great staff at the Salem Conference Center, and all of the artists that we have borrowed art from, purchased art, begged if necessary to bring the art to this community.
The Battle Creek partnership, I think, is a real pride point for the community. By combining our needs for a school and their interest in developing parkland and working with the neighborhood, it ended up being a very productive relationship, and we've got community members that are happy and kids that are in a fantastic school. The city has always been there for us anytime we need anything for our students in our community, whether it's volunteering to get a Reading for All initiative off the ground, or working with us on permits for the other part of the construction work that we've done through the bond. They're just great partners, and they really care about the different organizations and how we can support this community.
The city works today to be prepared for the future. Our focus is on retaining and expanding the businesses we have, continuing to grow in our community, and maintaining a healthy economy. The city has the ability to provide resources and work with our talented public and private partners for collaborative ideas, strategies, resources, and implementation. We don't do this alone. Collaboration is key to our community's success.
Friends of Two Bridges is a nonprofit, community-based organization, and our goal is to work with the city and to create the connection between three parks, which involves two bridges and many trails. Working with the city has been a delight. They have been wonderful to work with. They've been very cooperative, very helpful, and we look forward to continuing to work with them as we head for the Minto Bridge.
Traffic improvement projects will carry individuals and goods across the region and across the nation and the world. And we have phenomenal opportunities to improve congestion and to make sure that our goods can get to market here in our regional economy and beyond. Collaborations moving forward are going to be absolutely key, and if we want to create a foundation for success for 50 to 100 years out. So when we look back on Salem 50 years from now, I think we're going to be very excited about the decisions we've made and the ways we've been able to plan for our future.
You know, they say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and Allied Video really put that proof here today. Thanks to Allied Video for their work. And also, do you recognize that wonderful smooth voice? That's Brent DeHart, and thanks to Brent for zipping right over and helping us with the audio. We just had a wonderful time with that. You know, I have a couple of introductions I'd like to make. And one, of course, is a person mentioned already, but always in my mind deserves more than one mention. And that's my husband, Edwin Peterson, former Supreme Court Chief Justice. You've met the head table, but I'd like to take a moment to tell you a bit about our council. This council is truly a collaboration of the best and highest order. We work hard to study the issues and to come to decisions to meet the needs of our community. Even when we don't agree on an issue, we still support and mentor one another, and we share a commitment to making Salem the very best that it can possibly be. I'd like to take another moment and say thank you to our council. Working with us are highly professional managers and department heads. And it's my honor to introduce Judge Jane Aiken with the Municipal Court. Where are you, Judge? I saw you earlier. There she is, right there. Great. City Manager Linda Norris. Deputy City Manager Casey Duncan. Our city attorney, Randall Tosh, is out of town, but I'm sorry not to be able to say a special thank you to him. He announced that he will be retiring this year, and I wanted to be able to say how much we at the city have built upon his understanding of municipal law and municipal codes and the tremendous work that he has been doing for many years at the city. Our community development director is away, but our deputy director, Glenn Gross, is here. Glenn, could you please stand? Way in the back of the room, okay. Public Works Director, Peter Fernandez. Fire Chief, Mike Niblock. Where's Mike? Oh, back there, okay. Police Chief, Jerry Moore. Thank you, Jerry. Urban Development Director, John Wales. There's John. Human Resource Director, Connie Manell. And our Administrative Services Director, Deborah Bond. Here's Deborah, right there. And you know, our city employees deserve recognition for their daily work and also for the many ways that they assist in food drives, toy collections, blood drives, and numerous other community projects to make life in Salem better. A special thank you to our volunteers. From the City Council, we are all volunteers, to the boards and commissions, and to those who give their time in the library, the Center 50 Plus, the police department, the fire department, in our parks and historic properties, and in our neighborhoods. They are vital to the smooth running operations at City Hall and across our community. Today's video represents just the tip of the iceberg in a long list of projects undertaken, and companies and residents that the city has collaborated with in the last year. We have not held back because of a slow economy, but we have moved forward to maximize government resources and private investment. The City Council's goals and the city budget are templates for our work, and work we did. Through careful spending and necessary reductions, we balanced the budget, we saved reserves, and we kept our AA- bond rating. And I really credit our city manager, Linda Norris, for steering us through the budget cycle every single year. Thank you, Linda. You do an outstanding job for us. The council's highest priority is economic development, And this year, we drove the investment of public and private dollars to upgrade roads, bridges, buildings, nurture startups, and encourage existing businesses to expand. Every one of these created new jobs and stimulated spending on construction, building and road materials, professional services, and equipment. When residents passed the Streets and Bridges Bond measure a few years ago, they dedicated their hard-earned tax dollars to improving our infrastructure. But you know, that money has also improved the economy. Local companies in Marion and Polk counties have been awarded 75 contracts totaling almost $40 million. Local firms received over 89% of the contracts awarded through last November. Those are local jobs and local paychecks, and more projects are on the way. But just scanning the list of other infrastructure projects that the city is working on, I totaled about $18.5 million spent recently on highway widening, water and sewer improvements, new parks, and flood repairs. Those resources were a collaboration of money from FEMA and Federal Highway Administration dollars, and ODOT collected transportation dollars, our sewer and water funds, and systems development charges. In the Riverfront Downtown Urban Renewal area, the city leveraged $500,000 in toolbox funds to generate $3.5 million in private investment, and more is coming. 3 historic buildings at the intersection of Liberty and State are under or close to being under renovation. Excuse me. Those renovations are going to bring new jobs, businesses, employees, customers, and residents downtown every day. These will be a catalyst and a showcase for revitalization and redevelopment on a major scale. Downtown is going to look different a year from now than it does today. In the South Waterfront Urban Renewal area, the owners of the former Boise property will soon be bringing plans to council. It is vital to get these projects off the drafting boards and into the ground. My vision for this area is that it will be a southern anchor for the riverfront and the Minto Brown recreation areas, and a popular place to live and work and shop and do business. But we must do this right. Collaboration will be the key. And that's why our staff are poring over designs and plans so carefully, and why the council is so concerned about making sure that we help put our shoulders to the wheel for this project. But I believe we need to do more. We need to explore the partnerships with state and federal agencies, with organizations like the Nature Conservancy and the Audubon Society, to truly reclaim the creek and the area around the slough, and realizing that recreation and natural habitat restoration will bring people and dollars to the area. We must be creative and forward-thinking as we contemplate what that really could look like. We need to build upon the model of success that we have right here with our Salem Conference Center and the Grand Hotel, the public-private partnership that's done so much to revitalize this area of town. I continue to challenge our urban renewal areas. We have 3 advisory boards, and I ask them to think big. Remember that jobs and property value increases are their goals. I'm pleased to say that that prodding is paying off. The Downtown Riverfront URA is focusing on their strategic plan for the downtown and the North Broadway area, and will be moving forward now that the mobility study and the housing analysts are almost complete. Likewise, West Salem Urban Renewal Area Advisory Board is going to be sending to our agency soon their vision for the Gateway area. This is prime land, at the intersection of Edgewater and Wallace. That is a grand location for business, for residents, for professional services. It's time to turn rundown buildings and vacant lots into productive spaces. And wouldn't it be lovely if we had something tall enough so that we could actually see over Highway 22 and look at the Willamette River and the Minto Brown Island? That's a view second to none. Outside of our URA areas, we welcomed Bonaventure Living's new senior living facility out in South Salem near Kubler. And I'm very pleased just to note that they're going to be breaking ground in the adjacent land to build their world headquarters. They're a great addition to Salem. Garmin has hired many new employees, and they're engineers and professionals, and many medical clinics have opened in several areas of town. These are important jobs with solid paychecks and good benefits. You know, not all economic development is anchored in the ground, and a good example is our Salem Airport and the tremendous current and future impact it has on tax revenue and local jobs. The airport and its related industries create an economic engine. They annually contribute 2,100 jobs, $65 million in annual wages, and $240 million in regional business sales. That's a significant economic plus for our community. Council will be receiving, and I hope adopting, the Salem Airport Master Plan, and it's on the council agenda, or will be, for this next Monday, the 25th. Careful consideration of the business property around the airport is also needed. The economic impact of current and future businesses adjacent to the airport must be remembered as we set guidelines and restrictions on the size, the height, and the use of buildings in that area. We've always said that property development around the airport will provide jobs and stimulate local aviation-related economic activity. We must remember that as we upgrade our facility to today's and tomorrow's needs. When I became mayor 2 years ago, I said that Salem needed to take responsibility. In fact, to take ownership was what I said, for its economic development efforts. I recognize the value of our partnerships, of course, with SEDCOR and Business Oregon, but we needed to be more strategic and holistic than we'd been in the past. Together with our private sector and our public sector partners, the resources and expertise needed to be aligned to common goals. The money that the City of Salem allocates for SEDCOR, for Travel Salem, and for our cultural and historic facilities must be strategically directed to support common visions for the future of Salem. The City Council reaffirmed that economic development was still our #1 priority, but last year we became even more specific, and we've identified 5 major employment and industry clusters that have really been the heart of our economy: agriculture, technology, which includes aviation and avionics, metals manufacturing and fabrication, chemical manufacturing, and education and health services. Well, you saw in the video the tremendous impact that Salem Hospital alone makes, and not to mention all of the clinics and rehab facilities and related businesses that have moved to Salem or expanded. We're still working with SEDCOR and Business Oregon to maximize these efforts in these areas. With their recognition and support, we'll see even better results from time and money spent. The new president of SEDCOR, Chad Freeman, has embraced this concept of working with our economic clusters. He's planning closely with our urban development department to capitalize on our resources of shovel-ready land in Mill Creek and at the Renewable Energy Park, and other properties and land waiting development in Fairview Industrial Park, McGillcrest, Northgate, and other enterprise zones. But there's been another very important shift in our thinking. Retention and expansion is taking a priority as we look to our roots and rededicate ourselves to the businesses and the industries that are already here. Working with them to expand their space, add employees, or even relocate to more functional sites will bring returns and add stability to our economic base. Our first cluster approach this last year in 3 efforts. I launched the Mayor's Forum on Agriculture and brought together growers, processors, marketers, food and beverage makers, distributors, and government agencies at the local, county, and state level. Through one-on-one meetings and at the forums, we've identified 4 major areas of need and opportunity in which the City of Salem can assist them. Our collaboration with the Oregon Department of Agriculture, Marion and Polk counties, the farm bureaus, the extension agents, and the ag industry associations will help us bring expertise and resources to startup businesses and to the mature companies that are already here. In addition to the forum, Willamette University MBA candidates are studying how hazelnuts, blueberries, and hops could better move from farms to markets. They are major commodities from this region. We're exploring whether a food and beverage small businesses incubator could be successful in our community. And I think just by looking at the success of Wandering Angus and Organic Fresh Fingers and the strong start that Gilgamesh has had, I think the answer is going to be yes, that's a good idea. This focused attention on agriculture is already paying off. Businesses that met at the Mayor's Forum are networking, and others have been encouraged by the city's interest in their industry, and they are reinvesting in their businesses right here, right now. My vision for the future is that Salem could become a center for taste. High-quality food and beverage products are grown here, harvested, produced, value-added, and sent from here to farms, farmers markets, restaurants, homes, here and abroad. Exports of products like blueberries, apples, nuts, and wines and beers are already creating jobs here and bringing dollars home from foreign markets. With the interest in locally grown and organic products, meats, poultry, dairy products, fresh vegetables, and the growing popularity for local wines and beverages, this region is poised to become a major supplier to local, domestic, and foreign markets. This rise in the production and sale of ag products creates jobs not only in the fields and the processing plants, but it brings solid business for Salem bankers, accountants, lawyers, property appraisers, insurance agents, vehicle and equipment dealers, just to name a few. And who knows, wouldn't it be wonderful if we could have an indoor, year-round farmers market in downtown Salem? It would bring tourists and the locals into the heart of downtown. It would probably also improve our eating habits. While we emphasize economic development at City Hall, we have not forgotten that public safety continues to be a priority for our council and our city. Even with last year's reductions, the police and fire responders are meeting goals and responding to calls for service in a very timely manner. In fact, the fire department has been able to meet the City Council's response time goal of 5.5 minutes 74.3% of the time. That's 0.3% better than in 2011, even though we had two fewer fire stations open. I say thank you to our fire department and how well they have worked to adjust to the changes. You know, our partnership with Rural Metro Ambulance is also a big part of that success story. And the fire department continues to provide CERT training, community emergency response training. We now have actually 900 people trained throughout the community to provide emergency response to neighbors and others in their vicinity, because you know, when we have a major emergency, the police and fire department and ambulance may not be the first ones that can get to your front door. Salem Police Department continues its emphasis on community policing by collaborating with the neighborhood watch groups, community organizations, and working with youth and minority groups. Last spring, we formed the Safe Streets and Parks Task Force to address complaints and concerns from the public about begging and loitering on downtown streets, about urban camping in our city parks, and about the serious increase in homeless individuals and families who need services and shelters. By bringing together businesses, neighborhood groups, bicycle groups, and park users, together with representatives from mental health and addiction services, faith groups, shelter operators, and law enforcement, we began to understand the patterns that lead into desperate circumstances and understand the resources that will be needed to turn this situation around. These three work groups are addressing shelter needs, another is looking at city ordinances and policies, and a third is developing public information campaign about what to do to discourage panhandling and how to help people to find the services that they need. You know, Salem, I always say, is a community of natural resources and recreational opportunities, none better than any in the state. We have an abundance of open and green spaces, waterways for habitat and enjoyment, parks with a wide variety of sports facilities, and spaces for community activities. Research shows that recreation and community use of these spaces creates jobs and increases the value of adjacent properties. We have 82% of the funding needed for the Minto-Brown Bridge and trail projects. And you saw Hazel Patton on the video describe the collaboration between Friends of Two Bridges and the city. That organization has pledged to raise $400,000, and we have an application into ODOT for funding for the last $1.5 million, so keep your fingers crossed for that one. Marathons, boating, and bicycling are just a few of the events that this bridge is going to draw. But I have a vision beyond the recreational aspects that will come with the bridge and easier access to the three parks. I believe that Salem and our surrounding areas could be on the map for sporting enthusiasts and the industries that supply them. Light manufacturing of bicycles, skateboards, snowboards, kayaks, camping and outdoor gear, exercise and sports equipment, and clothing could become an industry cluster right here. We certainly have the ability to provide the nurturing and the incubator process. We've already shown that we know how to do that. We have industrial buildings waiting for occupancy. And we certainly have the close proximity to the outdoor testing sites, from the Cascades to the Pacific Ocean. Salem is fortunate not only in natural resources beauty. We have educational institutions providing quality educations from kindergarten through graduate degrees, all with the tradition of collaborating with the city of Salem. Salem-Keizer Public Schools has shown remarkable advancement in recent years, like the increased graduation rates at McKay High School. The Ready to Learn, Ready to Work collaboration between the Salem Chamber of Commerce, Salem-Keizer Schools, and Salem Public Library is preparing students for further education and jobs. And our Salem Public Library has also been working with Marion County on the Salem and the Salem-Keizer Education Foundation on the Reading for All initiative, helping to distribute thousands of free books in an effort to be sure that everyone in Salem learns to read. Chemeketa Community College is a constant collaborator with SEDCOR and the job growers and the city to prepare workers for new jobs and sharpen the skills of people already in the workforce. Willamette University has certainly been rated among one of the top private schools across the nation. Their students and faculty participate with the City of Salem. They are on advisory boards. They serve in so many ways with city committees, on budget committee, and internships and special projects involving the students have been a tremendous resource for the city. Another school just recently told me of their tremendous joy over the collaboration that they have with the City of Salem, and I'm very pleased to announce that Chuck Lee, the president of Blanchette Catholic School, called me yesterday and said that City of Salem had been selected to receive their Partner of the Year award in recognition for the outstanding collaboration from our Community Development Department when they were working on plans and on permits and on inspections. They found that we were on the spot every time they needed that assistance, every time they needed inspections, and they found our staff to be a pleasure to work with. He also mentioned how the police department assists and supports the school when needed, and how many times city council members and people from the city have attended their events and supported their students. These schools are working hard to prepare tomorrow's employees, but today we need engineers, accountants, and technically skilled professionals to fill jobs that are waiting right here, right now. I've asked the Chamber and SEDCOR to devise ways they could help attract that workforce here. How could they import brains, if you will, so that businesses and industries here now looking for good employees can get those employees hired and get on to the work that they need to do. Looking into the future, I see the third bridge across the Willamette becoming a reality so that congestion on both sides of the river will be dispersed and we can get people and goods faster and closer to their destinations. By the time we meet again next year, we will have celebrated the reopening of the Courthouse Square, and thank you to Marion County for forging ahead with that. Bringing their employees and customers to our downtown is vital. Plans have moved forward on the 44 acres on Center Street, which the Oregon State Hospital no longer needs. You've seen an article in the newspaper recently about that. We're working with the state of Oregon to really envision what would be the very best solution and opportunity for that great 44 acres. Yes, there's heavy lifting to do on these projects and so many more, but through collaboration, I know that we will get it done. Thank you.
If you have questions for the mayor, we have a microphone. Just raise your hand. The microphone is up here to the side. So please come forward and ask your questions and for the mayor.
Thank you, and actually I'm going to be so bold as to say if you'd like to ask questions of any of our counselors too, please do so. I never claim to have all the answers. They're my A-team. Hello, Mr. Brown.
Mayor, what do we learn from the Courthouse Square project? And I'm delighted that it's online to open again. I know last State of the City, that was a top priority for you.
Right. What I personally have learned is how dedicated the county and the community are to bringing back the Courthouse Square to our downtown, to bringing those employees and those customers back. What I've learned also is that only through careful examination of a situation, careful weighing of the choices and the options that are there, can government or even the private sector make the right, best decision. I'm glad that Marion County took the time to go through the studies and to have the engineers do their final analysis, and to be very careful now with the contracting that they've been doing for all of the repair. So what I've learned is collaboration, careful, thoughtful, deliberate decision-making, and then the other thing is transparency. I do applaud Marion County for holding so many meetings and having those open to the public. Thanks. Well, if there are no further questions, I think that I will be adjourned. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mayor Peterson, for sharing your vision and your optimism with us. That was a wonderful speech and really exciting ideas that you have. On behalf of the three sponsors, the Rotary, the Chamber, and the City Club, please accept the flowers as a small token of all that you do for the City of Salem.
Thank you. Those will go to City Hall.
Oh, they will, okay. We would like to also thank the City of Salem for their significant participation in the arrangements for the event today. And also special thanks go to Allied Video for creating the video that you saw, and to CCTV, who is taping and will be airing the program today. The dates and times for the airing can be found online at cctvsalem.org. And we would also like to express our appreciation for the Convention Center for hosting us today, and of course, thank you to the Salem Area Chamber of Commerce, the Salem City Club, and the Rotary Club of Salem. Thank you for joining us today. We are adjourned.